Good morning, everyone. It's that time already. It's Thursday, January 18th. Oh my gosh. It's like half of January is already done. Can you believe it? Don't we say that every year, though? Don't we say that every year? Oh, it goes by so fast. It goes by so fast. It goes by so fast. Yeah, we say that every year, and we're going to make changes in 2024. Yes, we are. We are ready in 2024. We're ready for the new year. We're ready for our new selves. We are ready to live beyond default. All right. If anybody has any questions for me right off the bat, throw them out there as we get a few more people on. Thanks, Chris, for joining us today. Appreciate you. Haven't seen you for a little while. Hope all is well with you. And of course, we are streaming on YouTube and Facebook, LinkedIn, and now Instagram. We are streaming on live. Now, if anybody has any complications with hearing me or something sounds off, just let me know. I know last time there was a couple of sound complications, but we took care of those right away. So yeah, we are excited about today. I know that the weekend is coming up as always. And if you're listening to the replay on this, you know that people that listen to this show are growth-minded, self-aware, and always leaving the vibe better than they found that. We're going to do that today also. It has been a wonderful year so far. I trust everybody's been well too. And most importantly, make sure that we are keeping up on our health and on our relationships and our relationship with ourselves. Super important to fill our cup before we fill other people's cups. Well, I've been jamming on this new coffee cup lately, and I'm really excited about it. I don't know how coffee cups could be so exciting, but in my world, they actually are. So, all right, we got a few more people on. Thank you. Appreciate that. Well, yep. So for some reason here, I'm getting a double. A little technical difficulty here, huh? I apologize, my friends. All right. Looks like we're back on. I don't know what happened there. There's a little bit of a technical difficulty. I apologize for that. I got a little lost here, and awesome. Well, we're a few minutes into the show, so let's start it off with a quote. Okay. Our quote today is: "You cannot escape the responsibility of tomorrow by evading it today." And on that note, welcome to this episode of Live Beyond Default Livestream. It's episode number 61, and it's your weekly dose of personal growth. My name is Dave. I am your host, and I am a realtor in Arlington Heights, Illinois, and I'm excited to be here this week. So we are already about halfway through January, which we discussed briefly, and it's amazing how fast the time goes, especially when we think that we're getting everything done or we're being the people that we want to be during the day, and it just keeps going quicker and quicker. Matt E., thanks for joining us on the show today also. So let's think about this now. Like, the time is going by fast already. We're halfway through January, and because of that, I like to ask, has your week been epic so far? And if not, why? Well, it's time to take responsibility. It's time to take responsibility for our thoughts, our actions, our words, the way we're treating people, the way that we're treating ourselves. It has nothing to do with our boss. It has nothing to do with the price of Bitcoin. It has nothing to do with the economy or the president. We take full responsibility for where we are today and what we have and what we don't have. That's the excitement here, okay? So remember that. It's all about responsibility. And that's our topic for today, because in no way are we pointing fingers and saying there's a villain out there and that we are the victim. No way. Because we know that we're responsible for what's going on here. So for those of us just joining us, this is episode number 61 of Live Beyond Default Livestream. We had a brief technical difficulty, but we are back on. And of course, remember, you all who are listening to this episode are growth-minded, self-aware, and always leaving the vibe better than you found it. So take out your notebooks today, because we are going to be talking about a lot of good things. And of course, we're always going to start off with gratitude, right? 3 things that we are grateful for today. So throw it in the chat if you have something that you're grateful for or that you're excited about, or if you want to give a shout out to somebody. So for me today, number 1, I am grateful to be serving my community, whether it's in the real estate world, whether it's in the personal development world, or whether it's a stranger or somebody I just meet and hold the door for them, or maybe I buy the person behind me coffee and they don't even know it. Number 2, I am grateful for my vision. You know, I've had contacts on and off for many years of my life, and it is really, really cool that I could actually put these things in my eyes and see. Like, that just amazes me right there, that I can actually see by putting these little pieces of plastic on my eyes. It still just floors me. So I'm really grateful for my sight. And of course, I am grateful for the self-trust and the self-love that I have given. You know, we always have that self-love within us. And think about that. We always have the self-love in us. It's just so much is piled up on top of it that we don't realize that it's even there. So more than recognizing that, oh yeah, I love myself, and looking in the mirror and saying affirmations, which is important. I'm all about affirmations. What's really important is to start stripping away those negative thoughts and start stripping away those records that keep playing in our head, right? So to get to that point of self-love, it's already there. It's just pulling out what people have said to us and what the media said to us that we're not enough, and what teachers or maybe our siblings or our parents, right? And it's not their fault. They're doing the best they can with what they have. But that's why we take responsibility here on Live Beyond Default Livestream. Okay, and that is our topic for today, right? We like to have fun with purpose here. We're going to mix it up a little bit, but let's talk about responsibility. Think about it. Like, We have people that we're responsible for, and that may be our kids, and that might be ourselves. That might be, we have a responsibility to our clients. We're responsible to them. And that's really the relationship that we have with them. That's managing the boundaries and setting boundaries with those people. Super important to differentiate that responsibility to, and then responsibility for. And just even breaking the whole thing down, when you think about it, it's not about, think of the word response able. Response able. Okay. So it's the ability to respond. And the way that I take that word, when we break it down, responsible, the ability to respond, able to respond, I take that as you're prepared to make a response and you're not going to react. And not reacting is such a key, it's a key fundamental to personal growth. It's a key fundamental to real estate every single day with my clients. And when I'm negotiating contracts and we're listing homes, it's key not to react, but to respond, because it's our level one that wants to react. It's our kid. It's our inner child that wants to react, that's pissed off about something. So when something happens, we, right away, it's like that reaction of angry and being defiant and, oh, nobody likes me, and stamping our feet, right? That's a reaction. But the response is actually listening. It's when somebody says something to you and you pause for 2 seconds afterwards and you absorb it in. And then you respond back. So response ability, able to respond. All right. Chris says that she had an awesome surgery and she's standing straight, pain-free, and working again. She's grateful for the best boss ever, of course, for her awesome surgery. And the boss was there for a 4-month family medical leave and support. Wow, Chris, that's amazing. And she's also grateful for her best friend who helped her during her recovery. Chris, that is so awesome. I haven't seen you on the show for a while, and I was thinking about you. So I'm really, really glad that you shared that. And I'm super grateful that that you made it through your surgery and that people were there to support you. Yes, love it. Chris, you're awesome. Thank you. Brandon, good to see you this morning. Nate Dog checking in. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you. And Heather says, I love the breakdown of the word responsibility. I've never heard it explained like this. Yeah, thanks for saying that, Heather, and thanks for joining us on the show. Something that I realize that when you start breaking down, not just this word, but a lot of different words, it really changes the frame and changes the mindset of what it's all about. So thank you for pointing that out, Heather, and let's get back to it. Okay, so we're talking about responsibility, the ability to respond, and who are we responsible for? So I'm going to say that I'm responsible for myself first, because I like to think that abundance, you all can agree or disagree with me. I like to think that abundance is filling my cup first, filling my pitcher first, and then the abundance is what overflows out of it. And it overflows to my family, my friends, significant others, clients, especially clients. I bring so much of the personal development world into my real estate negotiations, and most of all, as I'm leading my seller and buyer clients. Super, super important. But that's what I always think of as abundance. I imagine it being a pitcher. I fill myself up first, and then it overflows. I'm responsible to let's say to my clients also, let's say to my niece and nephew when I take them out, right? I'm responsible. And sometimes we get it mixed up with responsibility to and responsibility for. And I don't want to get caught up in that, because I spun out on that last night when I was going over the show topic and thinking more about it. I was like, you know what? Why is there such a difference between to and for? And we can throw those in the comments also. But something that came up recently for me about responsibility was this book, The Alchemist. Has anybody read the book, The Alchemist? I highly, highly recommend this book. So this book is about 50% of the reason why I left my previous career in October 2020. And that was a career where I was making the most money I ever made in my life. I left because I was reading this book, The Alchemist, about this kid, a shepherd, a young shepherd, going on a journey through the desert, and he's looking for his personal legend. Now, the personal legend is the North Star, his purpose. And every single chapter of this book, it's about responsibility. It's all nugget after nugget about personal development. And the story is so beautiful, and the way that it's told, and it's easy to read. So I like reading it at night too, because then my mind is not racing like reading other types of books at night. But has anybody read this book? And if not, I highly recommend you read this book. This boy taking his journey to find his personal legend is all about responsibility. And the way he responds to everything that happens to him throughout the day. It's really, really interesting. And it's just such a beautiful story, and it's so inspirational, and you can learn so much for this. So I highly recommend the book, The Alchemist. Now, if you were joined us on our last episode, it was episode number 60, or maybe, just maybe, you're catching the replay on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. We talked about you have arrived. And what the big takeaway was, what will your future self say about what you are doing today? So let's bring it back. Remember December, a month ago, when we would look back at the year and say, oh, I'm glad I did this, or I'm glad I didn't do this, or why didn't I do this? That happens a lot. Why didn't I do this? Isn't it funny how usually we regret the things that we haven't done more than regret the things that we have done? Just think about that. It's like, yeah, we do some things and maybe it wasn't the best thing that we did. Don't you realize that you regret more the things that you haven't done? And that's a big reflection for me. Like, I think about being on my deathbed, and I want to know that I played full out in this life. I know that when I'm 110 years old and I'm on my deathbed, that I didn't live one life. I want to know that I lived 10 lives or 20 lives or 50 lives. That's what I want to look back on. So when we looked in January of 2023, when we look back, did we regret anything? And I don't even like to use that word regret. And that's just a simple term that we're using, but let's not get caught up in that. So let's fast forward to December of 2024. What is your future self saying about what you're doing today? What is your future self saying about what you're thinking and doing and saying today? And what advice would they give you today so you can be that person that you want to be 12 months from now? That's taking responsibility. That's taking responsibility for yourself, right? That's taking responsibility for your thoughts and for your actions and for your words and being self-reflective. That to me is one of the biggest keys of self-responsibility, is recognizing what's really going on in your life and being able to look in the mirror and say to yourself, hey, this is the place that I'm at and I'm okay with it. And I know that I've got to do a lot of work. Or, hey, this is the place I'm at and maybe it's where I want to be. So I'm going to chill here for a while. But whatever it is, it's just being honest with yourself. So think about that in your job, right? We all want to get into these big positions, but are you acting and living in that bigger position before you get into it? So many of us, I've done it in the past, wanted raises. Well, I was always on 100% commission, so that doesn't apply. But you get what I'm saying. We want to ask for raises or we want this bigger position. It's like, well, the bigger position doesn't come and then you step into it. You step into it first, and then the bigger position comes. I step into being a $1 million listing agent before the $1 million listing comes. The $1 million listing doesn't just come to me and then all of a sudden, oh, I'm this $1 million listing agent. That's not how it works. It's the other way around. It's taking responsibility for our thoughts and our actions and what we're doing and how we're being today. Because we know we want to be better. We're growth minded. We're human beings, right? It's like the universe. It's like the flowers and plants. Like we are here and designed to absolutely grow. That's what we're here for. And you know, if you're here on this show, that you're growth minded, you're self-aware, and you're always leaving people better than you found them. So again, take out those notebooks and take notes because this is a good one. And I love the shares in the comments. Heather says, absolutely. We can only grow as much as we are willing to be honest with ourselves. Bam. Thank you for that, Heather. And I just wanted to remind everybody that Friday, February 9th, 2024, from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. in Rolling Meadows, Illinois, is the return of Break the Mold Personal and Professional Development Summit. It's a half-day summit with 5 speakers featuring yours truly. I'm going to be speaking on abundance. And we have Carolyn Litton, who's going to be speaking on vision. And we have Mr. AI Alan Stern, who's going to be talking about marketing. We have Scott Tillema, who's going to be discussing negotiation. And we have a special new speaker, Tom Lavin. I'm so excited that he's going to be taking the stage with us. So get your tickets. I will throw the link in the chat. Again, that's for Friday, February 9th, 2024 from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. And we do have an after party. There's only 100 spots. Tickets are $97 and let's do it. All right, back to responsibility. I am responsible for showing up twice a month and doing the best that I can on this show. And the reason is, well, there's a lot of reasons. Number one, I just love doing this show. To me, it's like an art form. It's not all about me. It's about you, the listener. Am I leaving you better than I found you? Will you be inspired to take action? Will you live beyond default? That's living a life of design versus accepting a life of neglect. And how will you positively affect those around you? That's what this is all about. That's what the Fun with Purpose and this community is about. And I'm doing the best I can with what I have to show up twice a month and bring that to you. So as we're talking about responsibility, I had a recent talk with somebody about discipline and how discipline equals freedom. And think about that. Discipline has a lot to do with responsibility. Are you disciplined enough? Are we disciplined enough to do the thing that we know is going to move the needle forward with our kids or with our business or with our health or with our mental mindset? Are we willing to do the mundane things every single day consistently? And are we taking responsibility for that? Because we know discipline equals freedom. We know that the structure is what fosters the creativity, that creative mind, right? Chris says, you create your reality. Something needs done, you do it. Yeah, I love that. And Heather says, thank you for this presentation. I'm so glad I could finally attend. Yeah, Heather, thanks for joining us. I super appreciate you being here, and share it with others if you think it made a difference. Something that's been making a difference in my life is a new book. Good morning, Don Block. And that book is $100 Million Offers by Alex Hormozi. This is a book that I just started reading because a friend of mine, a real estate client of mine, got me $100 million Leads, which is Alex Hormozi's recent book. And then I started reading that book, and it says, well, you'll get the most out of this book if you read this one first. And then my friend Alan Stern just finished reading this, and we're doing the exercises out of it together. So just started reading this book, $100 Million Offers. And not only am I responsible to myself to read the book, and I'm responsible to the marketplace and my clients for showing up my best, but I'm responsible to Alan Stern that I'm going to do the exercises in that book because I made a commitment. I made a commitment, and I'm taking responsibility, right? The ability to respond. I'm taking responsibility for my actions. Now, I know I mentioned this book before. I just want to throw it up there again. The Alchemist. I'm rereading this. Boy, the journey through the desert, looking for his personal legend. This boy through here is all about responsibility. When Rona hit in March of 2020, I was reading this book, and I'm thinking to myself, oh, I'm this boy walking through the desert trying to find my personal legend. And what happened? I ended up leaving my career where I was making a shit ton of money at the time. I ended up leaving my career, half because of this book, and most of the other half because of my friend Stephanie encouraged me to live beyond default. But I highly recommend this book. It's all about responsibility. Heather says, accountability friends, way to step up Alan Stern. Yeah, Alan Stern steps up all the time, raises the bar, especially in our Break the Mold speaking group, but everywhere, because you know who the guy is. He's constantly challenging us to be better because he's setting the example to be better. He takes responsibility for himself, right? Again, there's that word. Yeah. And because of how Alan shows up to the Break the Mold group, I'm responsible for certain tasks with the group, and I'm responsible to the group to make sure that I'm practicing my presentation, to make sure that I'm showing up with the right energy so I can serve those people, that crowd, that audience. Really, it's that community that shows up, that just loves professional and personal development and being around like-minded people. I'm responsible to that. And it's 3 weeks away from tomorrow. I'm a little nervous. Of course I'm nervous. You never lose the nerves in public speaking. It doesn't go away. So, yeah. Well, somebody mentioned before too that I have a new cup for my coffee. And yes, I did get it on Etsy for somebody new, or from a new seller on Etsy. I love that store, right? Etsy's kind of fun. It's fun with purpose because I can look for things that I want to replace or that I want to use. And then it's very creative. And of course, I'm supporting and encouraging entrepreneurs. All right, we're coming towards the end of the show. And if anybody has any last words that they want to throw in the chat, please do so now. And we've got a lot coming up. Like I said, we have Break the Mold coming up Friday, February 9th, 8 a.m. to 2 p.m., Rolling Meadows, Illinois. It's a half-day personal and professional development summit. Get your tickets. There's only 100 seats. I will throw that in the chat. And we have a great year coming up for this Live Beyond Default live stream. It's awesome because we have new people watching live on the show. And I keep seeing my Spotify and Apple Podcast subscribers just going up and up, just a little bit every week, a little bit every week. It's just making a difference to those people who are on. And I so appreciate that everybody showed up and took the time, that you all showed up and you're taking responsibility for yourself to grow and to learn and to be that better version of yourself that you can. And you know what? You know I'm not here to tell anybody anything. I'm just sharing my journey, my 10-year self-improvement movement, and I'm here to encourage you all to live beyond default. So thank you for watching and listening to this episode number 61 of Live Beyond Default live stream. My name is Dave, and I am your host. I'm a realtor in Arlington Heights, Illinois. Oh, and I just got put on the board. I am now a commissioner on the Housing Commission of Arlington Heights. I just remembered to say that. And that just happened this week. So I'm super grateful for that too, to serve the local housing community. That's what it's all about. All right. I always like to end with saying what my friend Gabby Vargas from the National Hispanic Suicide Prevention Network said to me when she was on this live stream. She looked at me and said, Dave, every day, at least once, send somebody a text. And the text says, I'm thinking of you. Until next time, make it a great week. Thanks for watching and listening. I so appreciate you. And be the best version of yourself. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you again soon.